What's new out there, Claude?
Well, speaking of Hurricane Parks, man, they really set up a new stage style this year that I haven't seen at a contest in a long time. It looks like a circle, but it's actually more of an oval shape, which is going to allow these guys to get some different kind of speed going into tricks. It's really interesting to see how this is going to change the competition, not to have a square, but to have a circle. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but I think some of these riders are really going to take advantage of being able to go all the way to the edge of the course. So today what you're going to see is we've narrowed it down from 33 riders to 8. The format of today is each rider has a 3-minute run. Their time starts when they start their first trick, and when the clock goes to 0, nothing counts after that 0 mark on the score, and then they're scored immediately by the judges from 1 to 100. The criteria that these judges are looking for is very specific. There's actually 8 categories like difficulty, flow, originality, and then we're going to talk about later, variety of tricks is going to come into play today, and then execution. If you've never seen Flatland before, watch their feet. If their feet touch the ground or if they come off the bike, they're going to lose points. But we have 4 incredible judges that FISE has brought in. They're trained UCI format just for these events. And so almost 100 years of experience in Flatland up here in the judging booth. We're getting ready to look at those judges. The first one is from UK, Ephraim Catlow on the left. Next to him is Ryan Russell from Long Beach, California. And then Frank Lucas from Germany, who's invented many tricks. And on the right, Alexei Deselnu from France here. Again, he's been riding almost 40 years Flatland, and those guys have invented tricks. They've judged contests like this. They're experts at what they do.
I mean, that's one of the coolest things. You talk about 100 years of accumulated experience amongst those incredible judges right there. One of the oldest historical events that we have out here at the FISE, because BMX was really one of the things that started it all, and it was Flatland. So cool to see them back here, but let's take it down now to 2019, the top finalists. These are your 8 finalists here in the Flatland.
Hi everyone, welcome to the FISE Montpellier 2019 UCI BMX Flatland World Cup. My name is Greg and I will introduce the top 8 for this final. First rider comes straight from Utrecht, Mr. Van Berkel Sietse. From Japan, Kobeshi, Takumi Isogai. From Toulouse, France, Bonnecuel Mathieu. From Los Angeles, USA, Mr. Terry Adams. From Prague, Czech Republic, Mr. Nikolny Dominic. From Bayard, France, Monsieur Alex Hubert. From Matsudo, Japan, Moto Sasaki. From Paris, France, Mathias Cordois.
Wow, that is a unique starting field of athletes. We're going to get the screen up there. You just saw the rider introduction, the top 8 with, of course, Matthias Dandois, the hometown favorite out here. But what are some honorable mentions? You see a few new names in there.
Well, you know, you and I were talking earlier about some guys who normally make it to the final that didn't make it to the final this weekend. Kevin Nikolsky. You know, it was a packed lineup of 33 riders going into the qualification on Friday, and so 16 made it to the semi final, and then only 8 made it into this final. So yeah, there were some guys left out, and we also have some new faces here. Those first 3, I think this is the first kind of big final for them in a contest like this. And this guy put down the run of his life yesterday. Sietse van Berkel from the Netherlands. Watch the tricks that he can do. They're very original, very difficult. The only reason he's probably in the place that he is might be because of that one category the judges are looking for is variety. Does he use the entire bike? He's going to mostly be on the front wheel spinning, but the tricks you're going to see him do are tricks that he's invented. He came up last year through like online contests like Master of Creativity and was voted the Breakthrough Rider of the Year. So now you're looking at our first 4 in this first heat.
So there it goes. It's going to be Sietse van Berkel, Takumi Izogai, Mathieu Bonnicule, and Terry Adams, your twin of the day, I see on the right side there.
I get mistaken for Terry all the time at the skate park, and I say, are you Terry Adams? And I say, no, he's shorter than me. His baby, I actually sat next. He's got a brand new baby who's here, Ledge, and
did he buy it?
Ledge kept grabbing my shirt, and Vanessa, his wife, was like, I think he thinks you're Terry.
Wow, that's incredible.
So that's pretty close.
Okay, going back to the man you said threw down the run of his life, coming out of the Netherlands. This is from Utrecht, Sietse van Berkel, about to get his time on the oval arena. I love this new platform, actually.
Yeah, you know, it's going to allow these guys actually to go further to the edge, and some of them went all the way to the edge, not off the stage, but there's that front wheel style I was talking about. Watch, he'll step up on the places of the bike that nobody else is stepping up to, like the stem, the handlebars. And he, even when he messes up, kind of, he'll bobble, but he finds a way to land on the bike and not touch the ground. Remember, one of the things that judges are looking for is, do they touch the ground, come off the bike? And he just finds a way to stay on the bike and have almost a perfect run. Now, as I say that, he came off, so that's one, but, you know, that's a really minor error. Let's see, he can go right back into that combination. Now here he's using the back wheel, and that might be an adjustment from yesterday to get him more points to show that he can use the whole bike, the front wheel and back wheel. Look at that pedaling time machine, pulling it clean right back to the pedals. Makes it look kind of easy, and it's not easy. Sietse with 2 minutes left. Like I said earlier, voted the 2018 Breakthrough Rider of the Year by other riders online, doing it for Deco BMX.
Wow.
Yeah, getting those pivots around on the front wheel, just coming off that half packer. That's another one of his like big combos right here. So he needs to get this if he wants to podium with the rest of these guys.
I can't tell you enough how intimidating this must be, or just how exciting it must feel for one of these incredible tricks. Look at how he positions his foot on the pedal there, and then between the seat post and the top tube, right in that little seat stay connection. A great link for Sietse right there.
Awesome combo. That's got to feel good for his confidence to get that one under his belt. That's one of his signature tricks. We'd mentioned this in Japan, I think, but last year he had a really bad crash and it kind of took him out. He had a concussion and all those things, but now he's back riding harder, and he's been showing up at these FISE World Series. I think he's going to be a contender for these guys for the next couple of years. That trick is another really hard trick where he steps up to the pedal. Wasn't happening for him there, but he's going to go into it. Watch this, Ryan.
Oh, come on, Sietse.
Now, I didn't notice if they clean the floor after practice. Sometimes that's an issue when dust from the wind, you know, blows dust onto the floor.
Really going for an intricate link right here, but as well, like I was mentioning, you maybe see a little, it's hard on the contrast, not able to adjust a perfect aperture on your screen, but there are so many spectators out here. Sietse not completely able to get this one, but trying to perform in front of the thousands, the tens of thousands out here watching the Flatland, the final event of Montpellier.
You can't really grasp how many people are there. And one of the cool things about this platform being oval shaped is they've allowed the crowd to really come all the way around both sides. You see it there.
Yeah.
And it is just, it's like a rock concert to be on that stage right now.
It's incredible. It looks so nice.
And the volume, like when people cheer, the volume drowns out the music. So
God, that's so cool to see this, honestly. For like a flatland contest, that's amazing. I just get so excited watching this stuff where you see such enthusiasm coming out of the public population to just give support to these riders who are risking everything and devoting their entire lives to just perfecting these physical activities and these sports. Such an amazing thing to see out here in Montpellier. The thousands of people come out to cheer on Siets van Berkel right there for his first run, or his run, his one chance at it out here in the finals.
You know, Siets, that's not the run he had yesterday. I'm sure he's not super happy with it, but he should walk away very proud that he's in this top 8. He actually was on the bubble with Benjamin Hudson, who we almost always see in the final, and I know just by a few points beat out Benjamin. Benjamin's an incredible rider, you know, laid down a great run, and so it was a really tough choice, I'm sure, for the judges, but Siets should feel very proud that he made it into these finals. He lays down a good first score for us. What is that, a 66.75? And, you know, that's a good baseline for the judges to start with as you start to look at these next few riders. Now, Takumi from Japan, you're going to see the Japanese level of flatland in just a second. This guy is the spin master. He is one of the fastest spinning riders really out today. He's taken some tricks from Matt Wilhelm and others, and some of his own, but the crowd loves him because he goes fast. Mostly on the front wheel. You're going to notice he's got brakes and brakes on his bike. That's different than most of the other riders, but it sets his style up for him to do tricks like this.
Oh, man. And what tricks those are. The spins, you said, going so fast, but something we have to notice from the Japanese riders is they are so dialed in the flatland category. It's incredible. They have perfected this. They're taking hours and hours and thousands of hours on the bike to get this calm and collected.
Yeah, they are very disciplined just as a culture, and it really shows in flatland. You know, he will probably have a flawless run. The question for Takumi is raising the level of difficulty to get on the podium. That's, I think, what needs to happen for him, but it's so cool to see him in the final. That's just a testimony to his progression and how difficult these tricks are. Popping around on the front wheel of this half-packer. Now, he's going to do a spin right here, but I'm telling you, he has a spin that he'll do at the end of his run that makes that look slow. And when he does it, man, the crowd goes nuts.
Wow.
This is a crack packer, still pumping for speed. Takumi, just such a nice dude, doing it for Space Arc. Just such a clean run, back into a steamroller, using that front wheel. Back into little boomerangs, boomerang, back into the crack packer for the crowd. This link is about a minute long, Ryan, and pulls it clean.
Incredible.
This is gonna, you know, kind of put the pressure on the other guys as well. And that's when, you know, going first kind of can become an advantage if you're a consistent rider.
Okay, well, one thing I have to say, I have a question with this. When we talk about originality, original tricks, is Takumi doing many original tricks?
No, but he puts his own flavor and style into him that I think is really cool to watch. I wouldn't say, we're going to talk about originality in the next rider, but watch this spin really quick.
Wow.
This is amazing. This is Japan. This is Takumi Isogi at his best. Look at that.
Oh my word.
He's going to drill a hole in this hurricane stage.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wow. So perfect.
And you can hear the crowd through our feed. It must sound like a roar there on the stage for him. This is awesome to see.
What a beautiful arena that Hurricane Parks has set up for us out here from the Credit Agricole Park right here. That oval, like we've been saying.
Wow. That's time for Takumi. That was an incredible run for him. That's everything he wanted to do. I think he had a flawless run. Again, now we're going to go to the judges, and this is going to be a big moment, Ryan, because this score is really going to decide how they score all the other 6 riders that come after him. They're going to have to give him probably something in the 80s, and that's going to mean that they're going to base the other riders off of his run for difficulty, originality, execution. Having a flawless run, it's just going to put the pressure on the next 6 guys, and that's what's so fun about Flatland. You never know what's going to happen.
So cool, looking at some of these links where he switches so fast on the pegs with his feet from straight to cross, taking his hands off, still spinning. An absolutely amazing Flatland rider.
Yeah, look at that. He's on the front wheel, straddling the back seat. You know, there's where these brakes come in. Now, see, he's doing this, is called pinky squeaks, using the front brake to stop the bike. The thing about having brakes in the eyes of the judges is it's going to lower the difficulty, though. You're going to notice most of the other riders, except for Dominique, have no brakes on their bike. And so you would think that you could do pretty much anything with your bike, but there is, in the eyes of the judges, a difficulty issue when you have brakes on your bike.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can understand that as well from the point of the judges and from a riding perspective. Takumi is a guy waiting for the score in an 80.7. You were right, Claude. Has to get weighed high for this one. This is going to be the benchmark as we move forward for the next 6 riders.
It's great to see 2 Japanese riders in this final. This represents global Flatland really well. 3 guys from France here today, 2 guys from Japan, a rider from the USA. But this rider, Matthew, is one of the most original riders we'll see. And when we think about originality, there we go. He thinks about Flatland in a completely different way. We're not talking about like he just added something different to somebody else's trick. He has completely different style of riding. And sometimes I think he's messed up on a trick, but he's actually doing things on purpose, just like that, pivoting around. So you're going to see him do things that some of the other riders don't do, but they're so original to him, and he just has this really unique style. Little half lash hop, almost goes off the edge of the stage. You have to know when you see those logos, you're close to the edge. I think he wanted a little decade out of that. He's doing it for Heresy, BMX, and Profile. Wow, did you see that jumping whiplash? Jumps back to the pedals. Matthew's also like a musician, Ryan. I think you'd like him. He's got a real unique style. Whoa, just coming off on the front wheel there.
I do wish I'd be able to be in the field with you guys throughout the whole entire festival. If you're just tuning in, it's a FISE World Series. We're in Montpellier. The end of our 5 days here, an incredible event. Over 100,000 spectators each day come out here to the Les Riverbanks to cheer on action sports at its finest.
That was incredibly difficult. This rolling backwards, like half lash jump to the pedals that he just did. Some of his tricks, you know, they look slower, they maybe look more simple, but they're incredibly difficult to do. They require tons of balance. They're pumping around back into this steamroller, and he's going to lay this down in this really unique, picks it back up into a steamroller. Again, like I said, it looks like he's doing it maybe not on purpose, but he's in complete control of what he's doing on the bike. This oval stage, I think, is going to be to the advantage of some of these riders that ride faster and use more of the area. One of the riders we're used to seeing in the finals is Dub, Jean-William Prevost, who did not make it through the qualifying either. Yeah, we're missing Vicky Gomez, we're missing a lot of people. But what's cool is it gives some of these guys, like Matthew, the chance to make it into these top 8 and really get discovered in Flatland for how good they really are. This crowd getting behind Matthew. He's from here in France. They love the French riders, of course. He's got 30 seconds. Let's see if he pulls out another one of these really original moves. That is like a stall hitchhiker. pumping on the front wheel, whipping it back around. I don't even understand how he does that. That's amazing. Okay, watch him move the bike back and forth. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there. Wow, under the bike while stationary. Such a crazy original idea. That's gonna be time for Matthew. Wow. How cool is it to get to ride in front of that crowd? That's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity maybe for some of these guys.
Yeah, that is, speak about once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I just, thinking about it, such an immense crowd. We don't have that for action sports in basically any discipline. To be able to have that out here at the FISE for so many of the respected categories, showcasing the love for everything. I wasn't even in his run, that was before the clock started.
Riding brakeless, has that Heresy frame with the bend and the down tube and the top tube, really to kind of give more space for some of these whiplash tricks. All the Heresy riders are very original, very difficult tricks. We had some other guys in the qualifying. So cool to see Matthew make it all the way to this top 8. So proud of him. I'm sure his friends and everything are happy to see him ride and get a chance in front of this crowd. So amazing. This weekend's just been awesome. Man, the weather's been great.
It's been beautiful, hasn't it?
The weather's cooperated, the wind has cooperated, the stage is amazing. I think we're gonna see some of the best riding today that we've seen.
And a great time and a great place to celebrate your 20th anniversary of marriage.
Thank you.
I have a huge congratulations to you too. That's beautiful.
Rebecca texted me. She got a spot down there on the sidelines. She knows all these guys. I'm good friends with this next rider. He's from the USA, from Louisiana. It's actually, it's been 10 years since he's been to this FISE event. He's decided he wants to be the champion again. He wants to get back into competing again. He's known around the world as one of the ambassadors of Flatland. This is Terry Adams, doing it for Red Bull. Deco, Profile, Tiger Bomb, just one of the most well-loved riders in the world. There's people literally who've named their kids after him in other countries. That's how popular he is. Matthias actually has a tattoo of Terry's face on his foot. Everyone loves this guy, and you're about to see why. Super consistent rider. And he has some of the most original moves that he's invented, where he will jump over the entire bike and land back on the pegs. He's going for a little jump right here back to the pegs. That's a good, clean first combo for Terry. His wife, Vanessa, and his brand new son, Ledge, are here in France with him. Ledge is 8 months old. They're there watching somewhere on the side. Now watch this hop. This is called the Katrina.
Wow.
Named after Louisiana, but he ran out of space. Wow. Improvises and pulls it. What? Yes. This is what makes Terry Adams such a veteran. He does so many shows. He can find a way, even when he runs out of stage, to pull that trick. Yesterday, he stopped and hopped in a circle and pulled the trick anyway. Now here's another jumping trick that he does. From the pedals, watch this, over the front wheel. Right there. Oh.
Wow, some really unique riding. I haven't seen this ever.
And you know, these tricks are dangerous.
I'm starting to see why you grew out the beard.
It makes it look good. Yeah, we're good looking guys. Watch him jump over this. He lands into this.
Lands onto the back peg.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. That's one of his most consistent tricks. He wants to hear the crowd get behind him. Terry, doing one of these tricks in Hiroshima, broke his finger, so it's still healing, it's still swollen. He's kind of dealing with that injury, but I've seen him be very consistent this weekend in practice. This is another one of his tricks that he's going to set up where he gets a little speed. Watch him jump through the handlebars, lands in a hitchhiker and keeps rolling. It looks like he's having some trouble. This is not normal for Terry. Terry's got these tricks down. He's got to get into the zone. Sometimes Terry gets in this angry place, and that's when he starts pulling stuff. And tricks just aren't coming together for him. I'm kind of bummed for Terry. I know he really wanted to do great here. Montpellier, returning to FISE. It looks like he's going to set up his hardest trick. This is the trick he broke his finger doing in Japan. extended his finger yesterday trying it in the semifinals. Is he gonna run out of room? He gets it clean to the back wheel. He needed that trick, Terry Adams. Wow, 7 seconds left.
I thought he was gonna run out of room as well on this one.
And one more backwards hop whip to try to make it happen. That's called the Adams bomb, that jump. He hasn't got it all weekend, and I'm so pumped to see him do it here in his final run at Montpellier. That's going to be a highlight for him, especially since it's given him trouble all weekend. I know he's going to be happy that he got that in here in his final run, and that's going to be, honestly, man, a lot of points for him because those are original with him, because they're incredibly difficult, and he executed it without touching the floor. So let's look back at some of those original tricks. Quick little hop on the front wheel. Some of the things that he wanted to do didn't come together today for Terry in his final run. They came together really well in the semifinals. In fact, he had flawless runs except for that last trick in the qualifying and the semifinal. But here, he almost ran out of stage doing the Katrina, jumps around 180 on the pegs, and then somehow pulls it with no room at all and doesn't destroy the crowd in the process. That's a professional right there.
I just really would have loved to see him come out of this one. He jumps over the front pegs, lands on the back, and I just would have loved to see it go, but held onto this one, then pushed back.
Got the decade out of it. That Adams bomb.
That was the second one on top.
Yeah, good little compilation of his tricks there. I'm glad we got to see the Adams bomb again there at the end. And you could just feel the tension in the crowd rising as he was approaching the edge of that stage. Score coming in for him is not the greatest score that he was probably hoping for, 69. But a good score to put him in third for now.
Well, we've been catching up with Matthias Dandois, one of the top champions out here on the FISE circuit, but one of the crowd favorites and your first place semi-finalist coming into this final. Matthias Dandois, we're picking his mind to see how he thinks going into these contests.
With Flatland, you can't get prepared enough for a contest. Like, the problem is if you ride too much before a contest, you're going to put so much pressure on yourself because you rode so much and you're like, damn, if I screw up my run, that it means like all these sacrifices I've done the past few months are gonna be for nothing. And if you don't really ride and take it easy, then you're not really as comfortable on your bike. So it's a fine line to find between getting too ready or like not enough ready. Also the fact that it's such a legit circuit now and the guys wanna try to put their name out there and, you know, like ride these events. I have a couple new things. I'm doing that fake Emmanuel 5 cab out at the beginning of my run that I'm pretty stoked on. So like both my new tricks, I did them at the beginning of my run to get them out of the way, you know, because at the end of the run you get tired and you don't have the same focus. And it's kind of nice to get the big things out of the way first. If you mess up your first tricks, then it's gonna kind of mess your brain up. You're like, damn, I gotta do good. And it's actually the first year I'm doing a first trick that I'm not sure I can do.
30.
But when I do it, it kind of gives me so much confidence. So after I'm just like, all right, this is out of the way. Now I'm done. I'm just gonna freestyle and make sure I pull my normal stuff. So it's kind of a different process from last year, doing the hard stuff at the beginning. And I think I like it better that way.
All right, you're looking at the next four riders. We got to see and hear from Matthias Dandois here from Paris, France. I got to catch up with him this morning just over coffee at breakfast. And, you know, one of the cool things to know that as we go into this last four, that Matthias is riding in front of his family that made it here. They made it last year. His parents, it was the first contest they've seen of him was last year, Montpellier. He said they're coming back. His sister's here with his niece and nephew, and so it's really cool that he gets to, you know, do what he does best in front of this Montpellier crowd, this French crowd, and his family.
Wow, and looking at that stadium, I think they're going to be impressed.
Okay, please clear the course.
So welcome, you guys, are just tuning in. It's the FISE World Series 2019 presented by Montpellier, Mediterranean, and Metropole. We are live here for the UCI Freestyle World Cup Flatland finals. And we're about to get the second and final heat going here. Dominic Nicolin is about to drop in first, and we're going to have Alex Schumilon, Moto Sasaki, and Matthias Danois. Our first place qualifier coming out of yesterday's semi-final, but right now on screen, it's all about the rider doing it for Snipes, coming out of Prague, Dominic Nicolin.
Dominic is one of the most precise riders. He's very disciplined. When he's dialed, he's dialed. I think that he has the ability to win this contest if he can have a flawless run right here. He's actually stumbled in the qualifying and the semifinal, but still ended up 5th or 6th here qualifying. So if he has a flawless run, he has the ability to take first place away from Matthias or Alex or Moto. So we're going to see what he brings. But like I said, man, the one word that comes to my mind when I think of Dominic is just precise discipline. His tricks are dialed, and they're very difficult.
2 minutes and 35 seconds.
He's got that cool Prague style.
Okay, Dominic.
He is the Germany champ, the UK champ, Czech champ. Really cool to see him back at the FISE World Series this year. He's such a good rider.
Definitely has a unique bike as well. Can you tell me a bit about that frame, maybe?
Yeah, he's got just a real unique frame set up for his style of jumping through the middle of between the seat and the handlebars. Yeah. He also has, it looks like 2 brake handles, but what those are, they both go to the front brake, allows him to do some of these switches from either side of the bike. But again, the difficulty of what he's doing sort of makes up for the fact that he might be using brakes for some of those switches. But for most of them, you see he won't even touch the brake. All these rolling, switch-footed, watch him switch behind the back to cross-footed the other way, comes out on the other side of the bike. He'll use the brake right there just for that little switch, almost nothing at all, and then back to the pedals. But some of those tricks are just so incredibly difficult because the way he's on the bike cross-footed and pivoting with the bike all the way around his back. It's crazy, crazy hard. I think he's rode flawless so far. He's got 1 minute left, and like I said, if he has a flawless run, he's the guy that can put heat on Matthias Danois to really come with some bigger tricks in his run in a few minutes.
There's one very tiny step off at the start, but basic perfection out here from Dominic Nicolin.
He just came in 2nd place at a contest in Switzerland just a few weeks ago. So he has been on a contest run. He's been practiced, dialed. Basically, he's in contest mode, just like these other guys. And here in front of this crowd, it'd be really great to watch this backwards facing backpacker switches again to the other side and pulls it clean. That is one of the most difficult tricks you will see today, and he still has 30 seconds to lay down another combo for these judges. He is trying to stack on points because he knows he's got riders after him that are incredibly good. Hops, wow. I think he threw in an extra pivot to save that trick, and then did you see him move the pedals in the middle of the trick out of his way? He may even just be freestyling this at this point. Back into steamroller. Watch this little boomerang on the front wheel, and that is Dominic Nicolin from Czech Republic. Wow, so happy for him. That's a great run. I didn't see the step off that you talked about, so he may not have had a flawless run, but that is a great run coming into this last heat. Wow.
Nicolin right there delivering in front of the French crowd. We're going to get some replays of some of the highlights here. It's very difficult for me, especially coming into, I'm still very new to the sport and trying to figure out all the switches and all the connections. But let's take a look. The slow motion will help us out here.
Well, watch his feet. You see how he uses the top of his foot, kind of the ball of the front of the foot, to pivot on the end of the peg. It's very technical, very precise. And then even stepping over cross-footed on the frame is something that's super hard to do. And that's why you asked about his frame being built the way it's built. I'm not sure the brand of the frame. I think it's an Autumn brand of frame that he rides for Autumn, but it's built that way so that he can do those cross-footed whiplashes and step over in the middle. It's so difficult. I'm so happy for him to lay down that kind of run in the final. Dominique's just a great dude, really great guy. He's straight edge, super clean in his living, and just really cheerful when you meet him and talk to him. Kind of quiet and reserved, but always smiling and always really great with fans who come up to talk to him.
Oh, beautiful riding right there. Some last links, some last slow-mo replays.
Wow, that's the combo that's going to be the highest scoring for him, and the judges are taking their time right now because this score matters more than any other score really we've seen so far. This is probably going to decide, you know, first place or second place. And so I think the judges are really deliberating to make sure they get the right score for Dominique, because it's going to put some pressure on the other guys. And there it is, a 90.0 first place for Dominique, 10 points ahead of second place with, with 3 riders left. So you've got room both ways.
Wow, that is a huge score to put on the board.
Yep.
Like you said, 3 riders left. 3 runs left to do it, but if there is anyone who is able to tackle that task, it's going to be this man in front of us. Someone who has competed in every single one of the FISE contests, been out here since 1997. No one else can say that as an athlete in the FISE. No one else has devoted so much of their life to Flatland here in France. He has his own Flatland Academy in Montpellier, has a family fully on the bikes as well, watching him, cheering on. But this is Alex Jumelon about to take the deck. Let's take a highlight look and see some of the top things out of this man.
Video for Mr. Alex Jumelon!
Well, there you go. That's Alex. There you go, guys. Mr. Jumelon and Quet down there, our on-site Flatland MC, getting things roaring with the incredible crowd on the side of the Les River here in Montpellier. Jumelon, a rider who has redefined Flatland time and time again, and is back here to see if he can tackle that 90 score.
Kicking it off with some Public Enemy. Dude, the thing about Alex is passion. He is French, he is from Paris, he has passion for this crowd, he has passion for Flatland, and this is the biggest stage he's going to be on this year. This is his big moment to show his home crowd here in Montpellier what he can do in Flatland. In the qualifying and the semi, he didn't bring out his hardest tricks yet. So the fact that he's qualified third and hasn't had the combos that I know he can do means this is going to get exciting. Let's see what he got as he sets up on the front wheel. He's able now, he's learned to transition from the front wheel straight to the back wheel, which allows him to keep some of his combos going, making them longer, making them worth more points. Wow, look at that nose wheelie. Alex is so strong. Some of these tricks that he does are like a pommel horse. They require just a lot of upper body strength that allows him to do this. Listen to that crowd get behind Alex. He's loving it. 2 minutes left. He can do this 720 nose.
Wow.
Oh, just coming off of it. He's so on the balance point, Ryan, that it's right there. He hops into another G-turn.
G-turns are incredible. The balance on that front wheel.
Oh, even the street riders, man, love to see that. All right, setting back up into this weird whiplash thing that he does, where it's almost like a boomerang and a whiplash at the same time. He'll reverse around, kick, roll it back the other way, pulling that clean. He's got a combo that he does where he steps up on the back wheel onto the pedal, and I think that's going to be the combo that he needs to get in this final to get a higher score than yesterday. Now, this is what I love about Alex. Even when something doesn't go the way he planned, he can freestyle into another combination. He's so good at everything, you know, tricks on the bike. Like he has so many directions he can go. He's so talented as an athlete that he can make something out of nothing and save the combo. 45 seconds left for Alex. Watch this, where he switches the bars around his leg like that. Ooh, no brakes on the bike, so his foot has to remain on the tire basically the whole time to keep him from falling. Does it, back into the rollback.
These are all new. I haven't seen Jumelon do that one there.
Yeah.
To me.
All right, he's got time for that one last combo, and it's gonna be on the front wheel, but he's gonna boomerang and then go right into the back wheel. Let's see if he can get it. It's a rollback boomerang straight into a peg wheelie. This is the combo that he's been trying to get all weekend. Up into that peg wheelie to the back decade with 1 second left. That's Alex Jumelin from Montpellier, France, loving the crowd, expressing his gratitude to them. So cool to see him here with his boys, who Nathan and Gavin made it to finals themselves today. Elodie and their new son, Jude, is on the sidelines watching. So cool to see him and his friends here to get to come cheer him on.
How are you feeling about that run after we just saw it completely unfold in front of us?
There were things that were better than yesterday, and there were things that didn't go exactly the way he wanted. But I think he is happy with that run. I think he just had a great time. You know, one of the great things is just making it to this final, right, you know, in front of this Montpellier crowd. Alex has been here all day long. His students from the FISE Academy have been competing. He's been here coaching them, cheering for them, hugging them, comforting them when their runs went wrong. So I think at this point, he is just having fun for this crowd. And, you know, sometimes it's about the competition, and sometimes, like I said, it's just about the passion for Flatland and showing it off in front of this crowd. I think he's happy. We'll see on the score if it's enough to beat Dominique. It may not be, but again, I've been surprised by this in the past, because the tricks he does are incredibly difficult. Didn't quite get that last combo that I know he wanted to get, where he gets back up on the back wheel, pumps for speed, but you know, let's see what the judges do with what they had and what Alex did. Again, man, just love to see him right here. The crowd loves Alex. They love their French riders. 3 French riders in the final is something incredible to say, you know, for this event. The thing about Alex and Matthias that they figured out is you have to be incredibly in shape. You have to have a lot of good stamina to make it through these 3-minute runs. And so Alex and Matthias kind of pride themselves on running, working out, staying in shape.
And the score's coming in 80.12. It's good enough for 3rd place right there. Below Takumi.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's lower than him, and that's a credit to Takumi. And, you know, the rider from Japan. Alex is currently in 3rd place. If everything goes wrong from here, he would end up on the podium. But we have 2 of the best riders in the world coming after him. And this rider is from Japan, represents one of the best Flatlanders in Japan, doing it for Monster Energy. Good speed, and for extra large clothing. This is Moto Sasaki. Moto is a great rider, has incredibly difficult tricks. The thing about Moto is it's just extreme. Everything that he does is contorted to the extreme. If you watch, he'll even scrape his handlebars on the floor at times, just like that, because he gets so contorted in these positions. Has some tricks that he's invented on his own that are incredibly difficult. So Moto getting a good start here. Few minutes into his run. Montpellier Finals, Pro Flatland.
Moto Sasaki. Hopefully I'm saying that name right.
Got it.
It's been a couple times going, but has some incredible style, and now he's going to see if he has the chance to take away that 80 from Takumi. But better than that. Really wants to get up into the 90s with this one. Has a great length going here.
Yeah, he stepped up onto the pedal at the beginning of that combo, which makes this trick original and very difficult. And then he has like a whole 30-second combo after it of all these other moves. Now here's where he'll scrape the handlebar sometimes again, or step up to the pedal, pulling it clean. Those are good combos for Moto. Getting some of his kind of traditional combos in, having a good run so far. He knows that he has to beat that 90 to take that first spot from Dominique. So he may pull out something new here in his run that we haven't seen. He definitely has other tricks that I haven't seen him practice this weekend. Stepping over into the spinning one-footed crackpacker, back into a forward crackpacker, pulling it clean. Moto Sasaki making Japan proud. I think he's one of the riders that will enjoy this oval stage just by the way that he uses it to get speed, to ramp up into these spinning tricks. I know if Jean-William Prevost was here, he would have used every inch of this stage. Cross-footed, look at this, cross-footed pumping, hang 5. Oh. That may have been the first time he came off his bike. I don't remember if there was one at the beginning.
For me, I think that's the first time.
That's okay. He's going to get back on, scrape the handlebars. Like I said, just extreme in the way he contorts his body. Back into this cross-footed pumping. Switches back into his steamroller. He's got real unique ways that he pulls out of these combos. He's pumping for more speed right there. I wonder what he's setting up. He may be setting up something. Oh. Watch his moves to the other side of the bike, and the hitchhiker sets up the cross-footed backpacker. Wow. Moto is definitely going for it. That is a combo that's not a safe combo for him. And I think it's awesome that he is pulling out all the stops here with his last couple of seconds here at Montpellier, trying to set up that cross-footed backpacker again, just because he knows he can do it. Didn't happen today. Moto Sasaki, though, great run. Even though he had some failed combos at the end, the combos themselves were minutes long. And that is going to be incredible. Now, Moto has tricks that he did not do in these contests, and I haven't seen him do in a contest in a while. He can actually do a trick that's like a kickflip on the front wheel. He rolls forward in a hitchhiker, jumps, and kicks the handlebars 180 or 360, and he can land back on the bike. And he's won contests with those tricks, and I'm not sure why he took them out of his routines in contests. They're hard to pull. You know, maybe that's the consistency that he dialed back to. But I know he has other tricks that are very difficult, but he kept these tricks in, and these were very good tricks, very long combos. If I could guess on a score, but I'm just going to wait and see.
Well, the score to be right now, it's a 90.0 set by Dominic Nicolny. And then in second place, his other countryman, Takumi Izogai from Japan with an 80.75, and below that in third, Alex Jumelon with an 80.12.
Okay.
You see on the score is to beat. It's an 85.52. Moves into second place. Sasaki.
That's good. That's
Sasaki
a right
has a respectable 85 right there as our final, our first place semifinalists will take the stage next.
Matthias has, again, tricks in his bag, in his arsenal that he hasn't pulled out. Hasn't had to bring him out, but Dominique has put a little bit of pressure on him now. That 90 is looming in his mind. This is such a fun moment for Matthias Dandois in front of this crowd in France, in front of his family. What he needs to do is have fun. When Matthias rides at his best, it's when he's having fun. Yesterday, he let his Instagram followers pick the song that he rode to. He was almost kind of dancing as he was doing his run. Let's see if he does something unique like that, just to kind of get his head into a fun place. If you see him bob his head with the music, if you see him move his hand like he's dancing, He's having fun, but it looks like we've got a different side of Matthias today who's serious about winning this contest.
I mean, I think he came out of Japan really like, how am I feeling about this? I want to reclaim. My parents are out here. This is my crowd. Let me show you how it's done, guys.
I think you're right. You know, we've seen the fun Matthias all weekend, but I think what we're seeing is the competitive side of Matthias that wants to bring the tricks that can put him on the podium with authority, just like that. You hear the crowd getting so loud for him right now. Doing it for Vans, Red Bull, Haro, G-Shock, Skull Candy. Watch what he can do on the front wheel, throwing the Plastic Man into these spinning steamrollers. Watch, he'll bring it around his legs just like that, stepping on the handlebars. He'll keep this combo going for about 40 seconds of his run. Spinning. Watch, takes his hand off. This is the physics of that are impossible unless you're Matthias Dandois.
Wow. Beautiful combinations, Dandois.
Okay, here he is. He's settling in. This is where he's going to start to bring out some of his bigger combos. He's got 1:30 left. We're halfway through his run. What's he going to put down to take that top spot? Watch him jump up to the frame. This is his new trick. On the frame, one-handed, but he can pump it out back into a combo just like that. Back down to the back peg, into this time machine. That is new from him that we haven't seen before.
Whoa, and this one as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Matthias.
All right, he's starting to feel the vibe from the crowd. Getting it going, spinning on that back wheel. Take a deep breath before that last minute. Did you see that? I wonder what is going on in his head right now, and I wonder if he has something different that he's set up for this last few seconds in this final run of Montpellier. Jumping through the handlebars, crossing his feet, no-handed. Watch, he'll bring this around, switching his hands right here, back into this little mixed circle. Well, almost lost it, but he's so good. He can gain control back even when he gets a little bit off balance. Watch this spinning no-handed steamroller for the crowd. All he's got to do is jump through right here, switch. Has a little touch in the middle.
But still holding the link right here.
Matthias Dandois, I know that's got to be in his head. He's going to do one more trick to make sure he seals that top spot. Let's see what he pulls out. I think he's going to go no-handed with this. If he can take his hands off, spinning for the crowd.
There.
But he still has to pull back out of it, losing speed, somehow climbs back to the pedals with 1 second left. Matthias Dandois from Paris, France. So happy for him. Wow. Wow.
Wow, an amazing performance from Matthias Dandois.
This is why he's the champ, man. He is the champion, and he's going to enjoy this moment in front of his French crowd, in front of his family. You can hear them cheering for him. That's how much.
Wow,
Yeah,
just
you
listen
hear
to
that.
that as we can hear the thousands of spectators from down the Les River. We're just at the top of the venue site, and they're middle down between us here on the Les River. An incredible spectacle to be able to call this live for you guys back at home. Let's take a look back at some of this flawless flatland riding from Matthias Dandois.
Wow, first of all, I've just never seen a crowd get behind a rider in such a way. It was incredible to watch. It was incredible to experience. If you've never been to a FISE event, you've got to get to Montpellier next year to see this in person. I'm so glad my wife Rebecca got to be here just to experience that moment. Matthias pulling out all the big combos that he has. Had one touch in the last, I think, 30 seconds of his run. The question is going to be, is that enough to put him below or above Dominique Nicolny? Dominique also came off the bike, so since neither of them had a flawless run, the judges are really going to have a time figuring out who to score in first place and who to score in second. It's going to be very close, and they're probably going to take a few minutes to deliberate and figure this out to make sure they get it right. Here we're at the second stop of the FISE World Series. this is really going to set a precedence for the next stop in Chengdu, China later this year.
Yeah, it's really going to be pushing towards that point race, that battle that we also know of. It is a World Series, and it is battling for a World Championship, an overall title of the FISE World Series here. But Matthias Dandois, you see the excitement and elation in his smile right there as he is able to finish things off for us in front of this hometown crowd, in front of his friends and family, and especially his parents.
Wow. Well, we've got the two guys, number 1 and number 2, anxiously waiting to see this score. I mean, this is the highlight contest of the year.
No, he's not going to do it.
Wow.
Nikolny is going to take the win. Matthias Dandois gets an 87.07, pushes in to second place right there. And Moto Sasaki, 85.52 in third. What an incredible final out here.
This is great. Now, this is the showmanship. This is the professional attitude of a champion right there, to make sure that this crowd gets behind first place Dominique Nikolny in a proper way. These guys are friends. These guys are Flatland family. Matthias is the first to come out and congratulate Dominique because he laid down, like I said, an incredible run. And I knew that if anybody could take that top spot from Matthias, it would be Dominique from Czech Republic. And so he did today what he needed to do. Even though he had a touch, the level of difficulty was so great that Dominique was able to upset Matthias Dandois here in his home country of France. That's incredible for Dominique. I'm so happy for him. It's his first major win, I think, at a FISE event in quite a while. So
you guys saw there, that was your full page of athletes out there, but it's all about Nikolny right there. You see, this is the overall ranking. It is Nikolny is going to be on top with 18,200 points, then moving to Dandois with 18,000, so 200 points separating those two athletes right there. An incredible battle that's going to be breaking in Chengdu, so make sure you guys join us for that one. That's an amazing way to end things up here. We thought it was going to go down to the wire. It did go down to the wire with Matthias. How are you feeling with the end of this?
Wow, I love Matthias. He's a good friend, and Alex and Moto, and I hate to say this, but Dominique just took everything away from him. He took his championship away from him. He's taken first place away from him here in France. And that's, I'm sad for Matthias, but I'm also very happy for Dominique because he did the run he needed to do to upset Matthias. And when the pressure was on, he was able to pull an almost flawless run of very difficult tricks. So he deserved that win, even though it hurts to see Matthias not get that championship here in France.
Of course. Well, let's take a look back, some highlights from that winning run from Nikolny.
Like I said, I knew coming into this, if Dominique could get a better run than he had in the qualifying and the semifinal, he would be able to take that top spot. All these cross-footed whiplashes and cross-footed, behind the back transitions that he does. If you've never seen Flatland before, you just have to understand these are some of the hardest tricks that anybody's doing. Most of these tricks, Ryan, are reserved for like videos or a video part or something that you would save and put, online that you only pull one time. Dominique is so dialed. He's able to put those level of tricks into his run and do it here on the biggest stage at the biggest contest for the best event of the year, FISE World Series. And he just showed up and did what he needed to do. That's what these professionals do. And because he did it, he was able to upset the world champion, Matthias Dandois. So, hands down, Dominique Nikolny, so thankful for him and so happy for him. Congratulations to him. He deserves that top spot.
Well, you see there a world-class performance in front of the world-class crowd out here in Montpellier. Cannot believe it. It came down to the wire once again. Huge shout out to our whole crew of Flatland athletes, not just the top 8 that you guys saw in the finals, but it's so much more than that. It's the whole entire Flatland community. It's every one of you professionals who came out here to compete amongst these, isn't it? It's so fun to come and see you guys come out and try and put all your tricks and all your determination on the line and make it into this final today.
You know, this was such a great weekend because we started with 33 of the best Flatland athletes in the world. And to the fact that, you know, Jean-William Prévost did not make it into the final day, Benjamin Hudson, Kevin, Nikolsky, you had a really different final than we're used to, and some new faces, some new names. But I'm so glad to see Dominique coming back into competing at these major events like the FISE World Series. And so he's going to put a pressure on Alex and Matthias, and he's the new champion right now in the points for the World Series.
Yeah,
is that right?
He's leading the point series, but just by 200 points. So you have to keep in mind there.
Chengdu is going to be exciting.
Dominique has 18,200, and Dandois has 18,000. So moving forth, it's going to be down to the millimeter. Whoever takes first out there is definitely going to be going for that title. You see on the right-hand corner of your screen, we have a flag ceremony started representing all the flags that we have for different nations and different countries here at the FISE. It is a global event, the largest free sporting festival in the world. If you guys do not believe me, you have to make sure you come out here to Montpellier next year, because it's something you will never see in your lifetime. A sporting event with over 115,000 spectators live each day. A 5-day free festival, music festivities, the top action sports in the world, but an open-ended contest. Amateurs, professionals, the top of all their disciplines. We don't only cover the top BMX, wakeboard, inline skate, or scooter. We also have parkour going. We have surfing going. We have the wakeboarders. We have a lot of the women categories, but we have so much stuff happening here that they just do not want to leave. And this is the final day. You see the final crowd out here in Montpellier, and we still have tens of thousands of people joining us for the award ceremony and the final flag ceremony to roll through the banners. It's been so fun having you out here, Claude. I mean, congratulations again for you and Rebecca on your 20th.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you guys coming out here and spending time with us in the sun. It's been a wonderful moment, though, hasn't it? We've had hot weather for you guys the whole time.
That's it. You know, the crowd here and the atmosphere in Montpellier is so amazing. It's my favorite place to be of the year. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And man, I always have fun hanging out with you, and we never know what's going to happen with Flatland Pro Final. It's amazing to see who ends up on that top podium.
Yeah, it really is. It comes down to the wire every time. It was such an emotional delivery last year, the time before as well. I mean, I felt like last year I was almost in tears at the end of the ceremony. It was like just such a big thing to me. Dominic, of course, though, the big guy taking it down here. We're going to have to see, though, how does that podium look when we get down to it in the finish line. We have a lot of stuff organizing down there. If you want to watch some highlights, make sure you guys go back to social media. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, of course. But let's take it down to Quet and Miguel for the award ceremony in the finish line.
One of the most amazing Flatland finals we have ever seen at the FISE. Let's meet our podium finishers. In third place, from Japan, Moto Sasaki!
Je vais demander à monsieur Henri Watanabe, président de la Fédération internationale de gymnastique et membre du CIO, de remettre le prix à Moto Sasaki ainsi qu'à Hervé André Benoît, le créateur et organisateur du FISE, de lui remettre le chèque Moto Sasaki.
Your second place finisher from Paris, France, Matthias Dandois!
Mathias Dandois, deuxième place. Alors, le trophée remis par Morinari Watanabe et le chèque remis par Léandre Benoît. Maximum de bruit pour Mathias Dandois.
And your 2019 FISE Montpellier Flatland champion from Prague, Czech Republic, Dominic Nikolny!
Yes, le grand gagnant de cette finale BMX Flatland UCI World Cup. Un maximum de bruit pour Dominic Nikolny. Le chèque remis par Morinari Watanabe et Hervé André Benoît Montpellier. Ça a été au top la famille. Vraiment, ça a été plus que bon la famille. Du fond du cœur, Montpellier, du fond du cœur, je t'aime putain, je t'aime Montpellier, ne change rien, du bruit.
Hey, c'est la fin, c'est fini. Je veux que demain à Montpellier, il n'y a plus personne qui puisse parler. Vous ayez tous comme ça en polo. Encore une fois pour le FISE. C'est pas assez de bruit. C'est qu'après 5 jours de FISE, j'ai mal aux oreilles, je ne comprends pas bien. Il n'y a pas assez de bruit. Vous êtes